Ooh. Well, welcome everybody. How are you? Thank you so much for those of you who are showing up on the phone. It's really, really nice to have all of you here today. Happy Wednesday. It is for those of you who are going to be listening. Oh, this is going to be bugging me to have this here. Like, that. Like, there we go. Um, For those of you, did you know if you're going to listen to this on the podcast, if you're listening to this on the podcast, which goes tomorrow, it is my 100th episode. My 100th episode. Oh my God. I can't believe I have done 100 podcast episodes. And I just want to thank so many of you for listening, for being here, for sharing, for lighting a fire under me to talk about different topics, and for just really stepping out of my comfort zone. And we're going to talk about that today. That creating this podcast and creating these trainings definitely has been stepping out of my comfort zone. And some of you know what that's like to really step out of the comfort zone. And we're going to talk about how do you step out of your comfort zone when it comes to being courageous, losing weight, and especially this holiday season, especially this time of year. How do we use courage to keep moving towards having the body you want when it's holiday season? So I want to talk about that, but I want to thank so many of you for allowing me and listening to me go through this journey this year of doing these live every single Wednesday in one way or the other for the majority, almost every single Wednesday this year. And I want to thank you for those of you who have been listening and to my podcast. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for loving me up, sharing this with others, continuing to support me, and being in this conversation. There have been almost 100,000 listens to the podcast, and that's just really exciting, really exciting. So let's talk about this whole notion of courage, because I thought, God, what am I going to do for my 100th episode? What do I want to talk about? I thought, doing the podcast it took a lot of courage. It took a lot of, oh my gosh, getting out of my comfort zone and saying, let's try this out. I don't know how to do podcasts. And some of you are doing this right now. I don't know how to lose weight. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to step out of my comfort zone. And what I can tell you is that by stepping out of my comfort zone, it allowed me to have this amazing experience with so many of you who I adore and love and care about and know because of the podcast, because of these trainings each and every week. And so when you look at this holiday season and you think about, okay, we've got this holiday season coming up. For many of you, it's going to look really, really different because of COVID, because these numbers are skyrocketing, and it's going to just look different. You may be used to being with the whole family, and you're not doing that this year. Or you're used to having big, giant meals, and it's going to be more contained, fewer people. So instead of looking at this as a problem and, oh man, this sucks, which absolutely there are elements that are not fun and not exciting and not good and not what you want, is there a possibility to really step into the power of what you can create in a new way this holiday season? That's better for your body. It's better for your mind. It's good for your soul. It's good for your heart. And where there could be connection and things occurring for you and your family members. So, sorry, my nose is a little runny. So I want you to think about something that you've done that's been really courageous. Something you've done, like for me, this podcast. Instead of using my notes all the time, I used to do everything audio so I could use my notes and I could read. So going from notes to then just being like, here we go, I'm going to talk, was a really scary thing for me to do. It was really uncomfortable. I didn't know if I could do it. And it was definitely out of my comfort zone. What's something you've done? And I want you to share with me, what's something you've done in your life that's been out of your comfort zone? And it could be hang gliding. It could be jumping out of an airplane. It could be having a hard conversation, leaving a marriage, changing up a career, leaving the comfort of a high paying job to start your own business. What have you done? And share with me. And hello, Miss Kate. Hello, Cara. So good to see you here. Hello, Miss Roberta. Hi, Paula. Nice to see you. Michelle. Love seeing you. Hi, Karen. Hi, Teresa. Thank you, Michelle. So fun to see you always. Barbara, great. Tam, you're here. Yay. So tell me, share with me, what is it that you've done that's been courageous where you stepped out of your comfort zone? What have you done? I want to hear. Share with me. And for those of you on the phone, hi, hello, Colorado and California. A bunch of you from California today. Iowa, Georgia, New York. Awesome to see you. Love it. Thanks for being here, everybody. Hello, Miss Becca. Happy to see you. Hello, Mandy. Oh, so fun to see you. So share with me. Hi, Kathy. Share with me, everybody. What have you done to step out of your comfort zone? What have you done where you had to be really courageous to step out of your comfort zone? I want to know, what have you done? It's not easy to be in a situation where you step out of your comfort zone. It takes something inside of you to say, I really want this change, or I really want to do this. Or you've got to be then willing, right? When you're courageous and you do something that is out of your comfort zone, what's the first thing you have to do? One, you've got to really have a different conversation in your head. Always, right? Always. Hi, Denise. Absolutely, Teresa. Putting yourself on eHarmony, right? When you don't like these apps. Going through a divorce. Heck yeah. Becoming a teacher when you heard that it wouldn't pay well. Right? Going into that unknown, going against what the norm is, can be really scary. So the first thing that always happens whenever you look at transforming your life, doing something that's scary, online dating for sure, can be that voice in your head. It's the voice in your head. And you notice that some of you be like, online dating, so easy, no problem. Put up my profile, I'm good to go. Easy schmeezy. Others of you will be like, oh my God, that is so scary. What's the difference? The only difference is the conversation in your head. It's like when I'm scared of heights, and when I go and I'm looking down, let's say I'm skiing and I'm looking down to a really steep mountain, my heart is like, oh my God, right? A little nerve-wracking for me. Where my husband and my daughter, who are not scared of heights, they just look at it like fun, right? It's the thought in my head. Now my body is having a reaction, my brain is having a reaction, and then I can either choose to act and go down that mountain or take a different route, okay? So I just want to bring up this whole notion of courage because it's going to relate to your body and your weight, I promise. This notion of courage, of stepping out of your comfort zone, it really takes the thought of, oh my God, I want to change. I'm not happy in my marriage. I'm not happy with my career. I want to change something. I'm not happy with my weight. But when you face this and you move above it and rise above it, this becomes then the opportunity for transformation. That's where the courage is. The courage is not the thought. The courage is I want to change. The courage is what? It's in the action. It's in that taking that leap to step into the unknown, to step into the fear. So when we're looking at changing our bodies, and I was thinking about, gosh, this holiday season, this whole year is about stepping into the unknown. We've all had to be courageous on so many different levels. By one important level so many of you have had to make, and I want you to continue to make this holiday season, is having the courage to say and speak your comfort level about what it feels like to be with people or not be with people. Some of you have no problem being with people. Others of you are like, nope, I don't want to be around anybody. And some people, other of your friends may judge that, question that, ask different things about it. What I want you to do is take a stand for what makes you feel comfortable, because you know in your heart what feels right for you. My parents have been very clear. I've not been in their house for almost a year. I mean, since April, right? Since March. Haven't been in their house. That's what that makes them feel comfortable. We'll see each other spaced out. That's what makes them feel comfortable. Where others of my friends' parents have no problem having their families over. Everybody has to do what feels right for them. That's been a huge piece of this, is standing up and being courageous and speaking your mind about what feels comfortable for you in this day and age with COVID. In the same way with our weight and our body, it is imperative that you are clear of what you want your body and your relationship with food to look like. First, it has to start here, right? Just like if you're going to date or you're going to go through a divorce or you're going to go do something scary, it's like, okay, what is it that I really, really want? And why do I want it? Okay, then let me now jump into the fear of making a holiday meal and not eating throughout the whole time while I'm standing up and trying the whole thing. It sounds silly to be courageous when it comes to losing weight, but it isn't. It is an act of courage. There's something very courageous about standing there when your head is having a shit show inside of it, fighting you, screaming at you, telling you, come on, let's eat. You got to eat. You got to have this food. Come on, it's so good. Just eat those 5 more bites of, just finish that piece of pie. Just eat it all. Who cares? It's Thanksgiving. It doesn't matter. It takes courage to face those thoughts. It takes courage to sit there and hear those words and hear them getting louder and louder and louder and not take the action. So it takes great courage to take new action, but it also can be courageous not to take action, not to choose the food, not to eat because your head is telling you so. Okay? So I want you to think about this, and I want you to think about weight loss for some of you in a different way this holiday season. It's about taking the courage to take a stand for what it is that you want. And to take the courage and to take a stand for how you want your holidays to look. This is an amazing reset point for so many of you. It's this reset of what you want in terms of traditions, patterns, habits, ways of being, and showing up as it relates to the holidays. And this can be an opportunity, a great opportunity, to take a stand and be like, here's how I'd like to do, here's what I would love to do. Let's all go for a jog. Let's all go for a bike ride. Then let's stop and get some coffee. And then let's go, make it fun. What could it look like in a healthy, vibrant, thin way? And if you know there are big gaps in your Thanksgiving or Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or New Year celebrations that are just mounted with so many mounds of food, I want you to consider what you could do to be courageous in those spaces of saying no thank you, of saying let's change this up, of saying instead of having glass after glass of wine, that you have a glass of wine and then you have some water, and then you have some wine and then you have water. that you look at what are you doing? What do you want it to look like? Okay? So when you think about this next week and you think about the holidays coming up and you think about taking action in a new courageous way by either having a conversation with family members saying, hey, I want it to look really different this year. I want it to look different than what the norm has been. I want it to look different for my health and my body. And to lay out that plan, even in the face of having kids maybe looking disappointed, or a husband going, really? Or a wife or a partner going, huh? Or parents not liking the choice. What are you going to have courage for? What are you going to stand up for? What are you going to align with? Your healthy, vibrant, thinner you, or a heavier you that just does what feels like you should do, but not what your body really has been craving for you to do in a healthy, light, beautiful way. Okay? So thinking about this holiday season, I know I'm not talking about what to eat or how to eat or why to eat or any of that. I'm talking about this from a completely different vantage point of being courageous and creating holiday traditions that align with you being the healthiest version of yourself, the most beautiful, the most kind, the most, it's like I can't even say what else. It's just really the most healthy, light, thin, vibrant you that you can be expressed as. And it might look like volunteering, usually. And so it's going to look like a pared down expression of that. Or it might look like giant meals, and it can look like a pared down version of that. Or it can look like a healthier version, like using more whole foods. So maybe you are making the same food, but you're choosing, hey, you know what? This year I'm going to use organic potatoes, or this year I'm going to use organic lettuce. This year I'm going to use, something new and interesting that works for your body. Or you know what? I really know when I make mashed potatoes and I put a lot of cream in it, it bothers my stomach. So I'm going to replace that cream. I'm going to replace it with something like oat milk or almond milk or something that works better for my body. So that you aren't feeling this, oh my God, I need to open my pants, lay, and just hunker down for the rest of the day in front of the TV because you're so tired and miserable because of all the overeating. Okay? But more than just the overeating of the meal, I want you to get very clear who you want to face, how you want to face it, what needs to be faced inside of wanting to lose weight, what needs to be faced, what real conversation, what courageous conversation do you need to have with yourself about how you're looking, how you're feeling, what you want your body to do, how you want to step up and step into change and transformation, what you're just allowing to take place versus what you can actively take place. In the inner circle, we're talking a lot about this, from going from passive action, where some of you are so good at this. I'm real good at this. Studying, researching, reading, knowing, learning, all of that. And you learn so much and it feels like you're taking all this action, but it's passive. It now needs to become what's active. How can you take all this amazing information you've learned about transforming your body and your mind and now take action on it? That's the big differentiator. Is now we're talking about let's take action on these things in a really massive way. And that might look like, for many of my clients, it's looking like drinking more water, moving their bodies, no late night eating, eliminating overeating at dinner. It's looking like a lot of different things. What would that look like for those of you who are not in my inner circle? Or right? What does that look like for you? So I want to have you share with me. I'd love to know, what is it that you want to face? And for those of you who are in the inner circle with me today, share with me, reinforce, what are you working on this week? Because that's important for your brain. And then I want you to share with me, those of you who are not, what are you going to work on? What are you going to have the courage to do and take action on? Not just passive action, not just the learning. Now, what are you going to do from the learning to stepping into the fear? Right? I could have learned all day long how to do a podcast. It was when I then just was like, I'm doing it. And it might be janky, and it might be weird, it might be funky, it might be terrible. I don't know. And then all of a sudden I was like, wow, some people are listening to it. It was just a few at first. And then it was 100. And then it was 200. Then it was 500. Then it was 1,000. Then it was 2,000, right? And it just keeps growing. Just if I had to step out of my fear. So where are you stepping out of your comfort zone in having the courage to step into your fear? Stepping into the fear. And you might need to look at, what are you scared of? Sometimes I just look at this. I just do this. I think about, what's the worst that could happen? Worst that I kept thinking that would happen with the podcast is that y'all hated it. I'd turn it off. I'd be like, bye. Tried it. Didn't work. I sucked at it. Or worst that could happen, I get some bad reviews, which I'll always get here and there. Okay. Right? What's the worst? Sometimes I just think, what's the worst that's going to happen? Roll down the hill. What's the worst that happened? I'll overeat. Oh, well, okay. Used to that. Know that pattern. Know how to do that. Best that could happen is I start losing weight. You start feeling amazing. You start really setting some boundaries. You have a meal that really feels light and lean and good. And you go create more of what you want, and it creates more energy, because movement creates more movement. Energy in one area will create more energy in that area. Okay? So here's my challenge to you. I have a few things. I wrote down some things that I want you to do. Okay? Here's what I want you to do. I want to challenge you to find the courage to do one little thing. One little thing to move your health and your body forward. Okay? Do one little thing differently. Okay? And I want you to start with something that is easy. Don't start with the hardest thing. Start with one little thing that will bring you joy from a health vantage point. Feeling good about your health and your body. One little thing. I challenge you to have a conversation with a loved one around this one little thing. To help and ask for support, ask for help. Okay? So one little thing, right? One little thing you're going to do for your health, then you're going to add on, I'm going to ask for some help and support. So when I said to my kids, hey, I don't want to eat late at night. Kitchen closed after 8. Husband, kids, okay, you're helping me with that, right? And they know. And then I challenge you, lastly, to be consistent with this change. Doing it once is amazing, but we need to see some consistency so that you start losing weight, so that you keep losing weight over and over and over and over and over, and see that your changes are actually manifesting into results, are actually manifesting into actions that you can see in your clothes, on your body, on the scale. Okay? So let me read a few of you who are sharing with me. I'm working on stopping when no longer hungry. Beautiful, Barbara. I'm thinking about what my plate will look like on Thanksgiving. Small servings of the things I like. Beautiful. Drinking loads of water. Having a nice, if you drink wine. Think about what it means to be beautiful at Thanksgiving and at a holiday meal. It's not this, right? It's not going unconscious. It's this. It's, oh, yeah, tell me about that. Tell me more about that, right? It's this opening up and the slowing down and the listening and the connection. Beautiful. I'm going to challenge myself to prepare a nice traditional American Thanksgiving dinner for my family and not stuff myself. Okay, so let's say that in a way. To prepare a nice, a traditional American Thanksgiving dinner and eat up to satisfy and eat the perfect amount for my body, or eat a small amount or the right amount for my body, right? I don't want you to be thinking about stuffing yourself unless you're thinking about stuffing, right? I want you to think about actually stopping when your body's satisfied. Okay? That's really great. That's really fun. Good. Have fun doing that. I love this. I'm going to eat a smaller portion at Thanksgiving and also continue to make healthier options of recipes. I also have also increased with intensity my workouts. Beautiful, Teresa. Teresa was in the 30-day challenge and she's kicking major booty and now she's in the inner circle. I'm so proud of her. Good job. You're doing awesome. Paula, being okay with not being a member of the Clean Plate Club. Yeah. I mean, I could just do a whole podcast on that, right? So feeling good, allowing food to be on my plate, right? So you want to envision, and you might want to future pace this, where you see this food on your plate and you're like, psh, I'm satisfied. Wonderful. Look at all the food I didn't have. That's amazing. Look at what I was able to do. Stop when my body's satisfied. Throw it away or wrap it up. Bye-bye. Love it. Love that so much. Excellent. Being in control of my body. Sandy, this is beautiful. What does control of your body really mean? Let's go deeper there. Tell me more about that. I'm cooking for two. I'm not cooking a giant dinner, okay? Maybe a couple of steaks, a salad, veggies, then on to sewing Christmas gifts. Amazing, Sherry. That is beautiful. Fantastic. I love that. I will not restrict myself, but stop when I'm satisfied. Yes, we're not talking about restriction here. We're not talking about saying no, 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 no. It's stepping into the courage of saying, I want more for my body. I want more for my health. And you, voice that's going crazy in my head, go away, go on vacation, leave, because I really want to show up as a healthy, vibrant, beautiful me. Okay? So yes, I love that. Good. Yes, I do not want you to feel restricted. I want you to feel satisfied, hungry, satisfied, moving on. See, that's the thing. So let's talk about this from a naturally thin standpoint. Ooh, maybe I should do that. You know what? We'll wait. I'll do that next week. I'll talk about how the naturally thin come to holidays. Okay? I'll tell you, stay tuned for next week when I talk about how the naturally thin deal with holiday eating. All right, that'll be good. I like that topic. Okay, so cleaning up my messy house, cluttered house equals cluttered mind. Yeah, so I've shared this a lot, that I see a big relationship between weight gain and clutter. Not always. There are a lot of thin people out there who have cluttered homes, but I do see a relationship that once you start cleaning up your internal world and your internal life and your body, and or you start cleaning up your external world and life, there is this beauty that starts to happen, this synergy that starts to happen. You either start losing weight or your house starts getting clean. Here's why I think this happens. When you really start caring about feeling beautiful, being courageous to step into that act and that way of being, you want to see it in other places, right? You want to see it in your environment. So I recently heard something, it's like, if you don't love it, if you wouldn't buy it again, then toss it or give it away to somebody who would love it and cherish it. So if you don't love it, if you wouldn't buy this thing again, bye-bye. I mean, I definitely could do that in different aspects of my house for sure. because I love that idea of like, if you don't love it, why are you hanging on to it? Why is it there? So cleaning it, cleaning that space, cleaning your environment is a great thing to do. Saying no to my 2-year-old. Oh, that's what you're saying, Sandy. Great. Exercise, not just walking. Say no to my husband's candy. Great. Great. And it could be saying no all the time to your husband's candy, but it also could be like saying no, thank you, to my husband's candy when I'm not hungry or when I've already had one or two, or saying yes to just one or two pieces, right? Just work with your mind. Make sure your mind is on board. Doing it scared. Yes. Yes. This is what this is about. Doing it scared. Stepping into movement and being scared. Stepping into movement when your whole being knows that it's something it really wants. And there's a part of you that's scared and doesn't want to do it. So you say, okay, what am I willing to do? I'm okay for you to get on board and be like, I'm willing to go for a walk and then pop into a little bit of a jog. I'm willing to go for a bike ride. I'm willing to go for a little longer walk. I'm willing to eat food. I'm willing to eat a salad and put some really yummy veggies and protein and fat on it today. I'm willing to make a really beautiful smoothie, right? What are you willing to do that you can say, I'm scared, but I'm willing or I'm open to, right? Because think about that mountain. If I'm standing on that mountain and I'm seeing all my friends go down the mountain, I'm like, okay, I'm willing to try and just to give it my best. It may not look pretty. I may not go down the mountain looking so beautiful, but I'll get down there. I'll get down there. And I'll face that fear of me spinning out of control and rolling down the hill. And rarely has that ever happened. It's happened a few times, right? So I'm so glad I'm so glad, Roberta, that you said this really helped you on your weight loss journey. I'm so glad, really glad. So thinking about what it is that you're going to do and having the courage to do it. Many of you who are here, it's no surprise that you've been beyond courageous this year. So many of you. And I see those of you in here who have lost 20 to 80 pounds this year by facing the discomfort, listening to those voices, moving through those voices, and continuing on and continuing on and continuing on when it wasn't easy, when it wasn't fun, when your head wanted to just eat, and telling that head, thank you for sharing, go away, move on. Okay. Very lastly, I want to make sure you're making the decision that when you face your courage, that when you step into your courage and you step into your fear, that it comes from a really beautiful place, that you know why, that you want to make something happen. You want to do this, you want to lose weight because you want to be able to play with your grandkids, because you want to be able to play with your kids. You want to be able to, at some point, go on airplanes and feel really comfortable in the seats. Or you want to be like my client, Barbara, who lost all this weight and was a retired teacher who said, I just want to be able to fly around the world and feel amazing in the seats. And when I get off the plane, that I know I can walk and go enjoy traveling. So it's like, why does this matter? For some of you, you feel super comfy on a plane, and it's about taking your fitness up a notch, or it's about finding those moments where instead of just grabbing food unconsciously, you just bring in more consciousness. For some of you, it's not these big things and this over, transforming your entire life. It's about making some tiny changes that will really help support you and your family and getting to your goals. I'm a chronic hoarder, wrote Tam. I'm trying to get on top of it, but it has affected my weight big time. So here, I'll just real quick for those of you, because I'm pretty organized, and you are not alone. There are others of you who have wanted to really clean up your space. So what I like to do just real quickly is I like to have a thing for, this is a keep, This is a I'm not sure, like 3 buckets. This is a keep. This is a I'm not sure. This is a toss or donate. Usually it's a donate. There could be toss and or donate. Okay? So the stuff that you want to keep, amazing. But you can look at it and be like, why do I want to keep it? Is this beautify my space? Or is this a memory I'm holding on to that I really need to hold on to, or I feel this need to hold on to? Or am I open to letting it go? Letting somebody else love this item. And you can do this with the things you want to keep and the things you're not sure if you want to keep. Okay. Hello, Miss Laura. So looking at those things, when you are somebody who likes to hold on to things, think of it like this. If you love holding on to weight, you love holding on to things, you love holding on to your physical weight and your external object weight, right? It all weighs you down, right? Holding on to stuff, not feeling organized, feeling like everything's a mess for me, it just weighs me down. It's hard for me to relax in a real messy space. So for me, it's we'll look at things and be like, we love this. Have I used this in the last year or so? If not, can somebody else use this? Okay. And just taking one room, and it's in that same vein of things get a little messy before they get cleaned up. Things get a little messy in your head too when you're trying to lose weight before the self-talk gets real cleaned up and you start working for yourself, right? Same thing with the room. When I'm clearing out a space and organizing a space, it becomes really messy before it gets cleaned out. We're redoing my husband's closet right now. And again, our bedroom, it's back to being a little bit messy because we're taking everything out and we're putting a closet system in for him. And right now, it's a little bit messy. But in a week, it'll be done. And it'll be beautiful. And it'll match. It'll look like mine. And it'll be lovely. Right? So it gets a little messy. That's okay. And then put it away. And look at, Sandy, why are you wanting to hold on to this? Why am I holding on to this? Why do I need this? And see if you're open to letting it go. And like I said, like donating, you can be like, is there somebody else who would just love this? Or sell it. Do Craigslist. Do Amazon Marketplace. Sell stuff. Get it out of your space so you can welcome either like more stuff out and then some things in that you just really love. Okay? It's a great thing to do over this holiday season is to do this sort of cleanup of your mind, of your space, and do that. So I really do see a connection between weight and messy or just feeling unorganized. If it bothers your head, if it bothers your mind, I see a connection. If it doesn't bother you, then there's not as much of a connection. Okay? So what courageous thing are you going to keep stepping into this holiday season? What courageous thing are you going to have to take action on? And notice when you are feeling fearful. When you're feeling fearful, that's a normal part of this, but you don't know what's on the other side of that fear. I didn't know what was on the other side of the podcast, of all of you. Many of you who got to know me because of my podcast, who I've fallen in love with and I adore, and I love watching you go through this whole journey. You don't know what's on the other side of that fear. So let's step into it powerfully, courageously. Find one thing that you can do, one conversation that you can have, and be consistent. All right, everybody. Sending you lots and lots and lots of love. Having a wonderful holiday season. I'll talk to all of you next week. All right. Bye, everybody. And thanks so much for being here and for making 100 episodes on my podcast so darn special. Bye, everybody.